it's me. Happy Easter. Today I'm back in the kitchen to bake a carrot cake. This one has a little bit of a twist with adding pineapple. I don't exactly know how this is going to work because this is a new recipe to me, so let's jump right in. For this recipe you're going to need a whole lot of ingredients, so I'm going to skip my usual list of ingredients. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and grease a 9 by 13 pan. I about dropped that. Number one. Now we're going to set this aside because obviously we have to mix a whole bunch of stuff. So we're going to start with our dry ingredients. We're going to do that in a medium-sized bowl. First thing we're going to put in here is some all-purpose flour. You're going to need 2.5 cups of this. 1 cup, 2 cups, and half of a cup. Then we're going to put our baking powder, which we're going to need 2 teaspoons of. 2 teaspoons of this. 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. And then our baking soda, which we're going to need 1 teaspoon of. Okay, 1 teaspoon. Then we need our salt. Half teaspoon. Then 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Love the smell of cinnamon, by the way. That's great. And then we need half a teaspoon of ground cloves. There we go. And a half teaspoon of ground ginger. Half a teaspoon. And then another half teaspoon of nutmeg. So now we have all that mixed together. We're gonna whisk it together. And set aside. My oven is preheated already. Now, this is gonna be our wet ingredients. This is a large bowl now. We're gonna whisk some oil, brown sugar, granulated sugar, eggs, and vanilla extract together. So we need 1 cup of vegetable oil, or as us country people say, oil, which I say oil, but I know somebody on here is gonna get really messed up if I say it, so oil. Look at that, I've got a perfect cup. Man, I cut that close. Man. Got some light brown sugar here. We need 1.25 cups of this packed into the thingy. Yes, I said thingy. There's 1 cup. Ooh, look at that little plop. Granulated sugar, which we're going to need 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. Eggs, so we're going to need 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And vanilla extract, we will need 1 teaspoon of. And we're also going to whisk this together. The next step, I need to fold in my grated carrots, some crushed pineapple, and my crushed walnuts. So I'm going to set this aside for just a second while I take a quick sidebar and do that. Okay, I'm back and I have shredded 2 of my 4 carrots. It feels like it's 2 cups worth. So I'm gonna set that aside for a moment. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to pour the wet ingredients into the dry and whisk until combined. All right, now we're gonna whisk this together until it is combined. This is gonna be an arm buster. That's thick. Okay, I think we are ready to put in the grated carrots, pineapple, and walnuts. I think walnuts. 1 cup of chopped walnuts. 1 cup. 1, 2. It worked out perfectly. 1 cup of crushed pineapple. Drain. There's 1 cup. And I have a little left over for whatever later. Now we're gonna fold this in, whatever that means. I'm taking it as it just needs to be combined in with the mixture, so that's what we're doing. Can't remember the last time I had a carrot cake, so I don't know what the norm is for this. But what I can say is I'm very excited. So now we need to put this in the baking pan. And now we're gonna bake for quite some time. This says 45 to 55 minutes. I'm gonna put it in for 45 and check it. All right, so while that's baking, we're actually gonna start making the icing. Normally I would wait, but I kinda wanna get this step out of the way so that we can just kinda chill while the cake bakes and cools. We're gonna put 8 ounces of cream cheese, which is a whole block of cream cheese, my favorite, into the bowl. It should be softened. I've had mine sitting out since I started getting my stuff ready for this video, so it's close enough to room temperature. Then we're gonna put butter in there, so we're also gonna use a whole stick of butter. Should also be room temperature, same scenario. It's been sitting out since I started prepping for this video, so fingers crossed. It's pretty soft, so that's good. Now we're gonna beat this together with a handheld mixer until it is smooth and creamy. I'm realizing now I probably should have used a smaller bowl because it's way spread out. But that's okay, we're gonna deal with what we've got. Now we're gonna add powdered sugar. We're gonna need 3 cups of powdered sugar, which of course it's cream cheese icing, so it's gonna be a lot. 1, 2, and 3. We need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract again, and salt. You'll need 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. So I've got 1/4, I did half of that. We'll see. Now we're also gonna beat this together. It says about 30 seconds on low and about 2 minutes on high. Now we're just gonna save that until the cake comes out of the oven and cools completely down. After about 55 minutes, this is what she's looking like. The toothpick came out clean, and now we are waiting for it to cool. So it's gonna be about another hour, hour and a half or so until we can put the icing on. All right, I'm back. It's been a few hours actually. I've had dinner and iced the cake, garnished it with a little bit of carrots, some leftover shredded carrots that I had. I don't think you can see that all that well, but here she is. Try to get up a little close so maybe you can. That's what she looks like. And I'm here to do the official taste test. We already know the icing's good because I've definitely had my fair share of icing. So this is pineapple, carrot, walnut cake. The icing definitely helped. Kind of tastes like maybe a little bit more bready. It's almost like carrot, pineapple, walnut bread with some really nice icing on top. I definitely don't taste the pineapple like I thought I would. It's almost like it's not there. If I had it to do over again, I might add more pineapple. So overall, I definitely think this was a success. It feels like more of a bread texture than a cake texture, so maybe a little bit more moisture would be helpful, but it's actually a really nice contrast to what you would normally expect from a cake. So it tastes great. I think this is going to be a really nice addition to my Easter meal. So I'm looking forward to having this again in the coming days. If you want to try this on your own, I will leave the recipe in the description box. Highly recommend giving it a try if you're looking for something new for your Easter celebrations, or even just looking for a different recipe for a cake to try, because I think this would go with a lot of different occasions. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll give it a try for yourself. I'll see you next week.